Hey guys, sorry about the mess. Me and my friends, my finned friends, had a rough party yesterday. But we're going to explore the most interesting fish that you can nibble on. The humble anchovy. Okay, stop wailing around, but I actually want to introduce you guys to Judy. Can you please tell us what you do at the Ushaka Marine World?
Okay, well the first thing is I don't go ooh in the morning when I come to work. I also don't go much. No, I don't do any of those things. So what I do here is my role is to look at the conservation of our organization and how we can help people to learn about the ocean so that people like you and me care a little bit more for the animals that we have living here with us at SeaWorld and also wider afield. So our role is really to look at conservation of the ocean.
Do you want to tell us more about this little, what are you, anchovies that's like so underrated?
Anchovies are incredibly important little guys. So they are small fish. They swim in enormous shoals, so they like safety in numbers. What they do is they swim around with their mouths wide open. So they swim around filter feeding the tiny little animals that are actually in the water column called plankton. So that's how they get their food. But they also like to live in places where there's lots of nutrients. So in areas where there's lots of nutrients, it generally means there's lots of tiny little things, and those tiny little things are what they're feeding on. But unfortunately for them, life is not all swimming around in soup, because there are lots and lots of animals that like to eat them. So we've got lots of different fish and sharks and dolphins and birds and seals. So lots of animals like to feed on these little guys, which means that they're really, really important in our ocean food web, because they're right at the bottom of the food web and lots of things eat them. So that's why looking after the little guys is really important if we want to take care of the bigger animals that live in the ocean, because everything in nature is connected.
Can you tell us more about the little buddies, almost the same size? They're called the sardines. Now apparently I've heard horrid news.
Okay, so sardines are very similar to anchovies. Anchovies are a bit smaller. They'll only reach about 13 centimeters in size. But the good news with both sardines and anchovies is that they grow quite quickly. So they'll grow to maybe a maximum of 2 years. So they don't get much older than 2 years. But in that time, they have to reproduce. So they produce lots and lots and lots of eggs. But unfortunately, a lot of those eggs just become part of the food web, so they don't actually reach adulthood. But those that do reach adulthood then can reproduce again very quickly. In fact, some of these little anchovies will produce thousands, 10,000 eggs at a single spawning, and they may do that at up to 10 times. So they produce a lot of eggs. But in spite of all that, these animals are fished by lots and lots of animals, as I've mentioned, but also by humans. So people use nets to catch them, and they've been using nets to catch them for years and years and years and years. And unfortunately, we're starting to see declines in the stocks of particularly the sardines. So even our sardines on toast that we might want to have, we need to think twice before we eat them, because sardines are really important in the food web. We want to be able to keep eating them. We have to look after them. So we have to think before we open that tin of sardines next time.
Regarding the nutritional value of the anchovy, can you tell us more about that?
Well, fish are really good for you, and especially things like sardines and anchovies, because they're high in fats. But these are good fats, not bad fats. So eating anchovies and sardines is good for you. We just need to think about it a little bit, whether it's so good for the anchovies and the sardines.
So when we go eat out and we order a nice seafood dish, what is the first questions that you have to ask yourself?
The first question to ask yourself is the seafood I'm eating sustainable? So what that means is, when I choose my seafood, am I choosing a type of seafood that can be harvested now and into the future? So are we catching that seafood sustainably? So that's the first thing. And you can use the Sustainable Seafood Guide to help you. It's really simple. Red species, don't eat. Orange species, think twice, like the sardine. Green species, go for it. Those stocks are all sustainable. So that's a really simple way. Use the Sustainable Seafood Guide, and that'll help you to make the right choice. So you know that when you're enjoying that seafood platter, you're also doing something that's not so bad for the environment.
Okay, so guys, please take note. Don't be like you're driving and red and orange means still go, go, go. Put those brakes on. Green is the way to go.